Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. First off, I would like to say a huge thank you for coming back. I know that I didn't post on my normal schedule last fortnight, and that is because I had a bit of a cold. So unfortunately, I was unable to speak. Due to that, I did lose my voice. Nothing to worry about. It's very common this time of year. I usually get sick. It starts off with a bad cough, and then I always lose my voice for a while. Usually it's anywhere from 3 or 4 days to around 2 weeks, and this time it was the 2 week mark. So that's, that's just life. It is what it is, I guess. Um, so yeah, I didn't get to post and update you guys, and I did miss talking to you. I missed seeing all of your comments. I really love going through them at the end of the videos. Um, So I've missed you and I am back now. As a sorry and a makeup, I will be posting an extra video sometime in the next week, and I hope to have a very special guest on that video for you guys. Um, First up this week, I would like to show you my progress on my Pokemon piece. This year, unfortunately, I'm not participating in Mania, and that is because I have to get him finished. So you can see we're quite well up on this page now. It's probably about 3/4 of the way in, and for the first time, I've banned myself from doing any of the black. So usually I do the black stitches fairly early in, and I use them to anchor where the rest of the colors go and where the rest of the piece is. But as you can see, there's a lot of blank space that I've left, and it's all those black stitches. So I'm trying to leave them until the very end of the page, just to give myself a bit of a change and a variance, because I usually do them first. And I don't know, it just always seems really dark and heavy. Whereas, of course, leaving them out, you've got all these beautiful light colors, and the pinks and the purples on this page just really stand out. So I wanted to give them a chance to shine, and I wanted to be able to see them properly on my own first. So my Monogamania is, of course, this guy, and I'm hoping to get him done very soon. This is the last page for this row, and then I have 5 pages left, and he will be finished. So for something I've been working on for, I think it's about 5 years. Yeah, 5 years. Um, it'll be really, really good to have this guy finished and to get him framed, just so I can get him put up on the wall, and he can have pride of place in my house finally, instead of hiding under a cover behind the couch when everyone comes over, so there's room for everyone to sit down. He does take up a full chair width. You can see he covers my entire torso. So he usually sits up on my couch when it's just myself and my partner at home, and of course our cats. But when people come over, we need that seating space for humans. So this guy ends up hidden away behind the couch, which is a bit of a shame. I really like being able to share him with people. But that is my update on what I have stitched. Of course, it's not as much as I would have hoped for 4 weeks. And that, of course, has been because I've been sick, I've been unable to focus, and I've also had a couple of migraines last week. Well, it's one migraine, it just fluctuates and comes back and goes away. But again, them's the breaks. You sort of have to live with those issues when they happen and just move on. So I've spent a lot of time doing my other hobbies and crocheting and making a giant blanket. I've just finished making my first blanket, and it is a jumbo granny square for a queen size bed. So it is the size of a quilt for a queen size. Um, and everyone in my house is in love with it. They keep stealing it, and my kittens are very, very protective of it. Okay, so today I thought we would do the Twinkle Tag, which is available online. Oh, if you can hear somebody, that is one of my cats. Latte is very here today. Come say hello to everybody. This is Latte. She is my Stitch buddy. Today is her forever home day. So she has been with us for 2 years, and she is 2.5 years old. And chill. Hey, you gone shy? You're not talking. All right, bye. She is a very, very active cat. Um, she likes to run around a lot, so she doesn't do sits very well, but she's trying. So it's the Twinkle Tag. So the first question in there is, what is your first cross stitch? Now, my first cross stitch was probably that big. He was a little Kingdom Hearts mascot called Sora, and he wielded a keyblade. So he was really, really tiny. I learnt to do him with Fliss, and of course, I stitched him all in one day because I just became obsessed. I had to finish it. Once I started, I didn't want to do anything else. So I did him. He was fairly quick and simple. Unfortunately, I don't have him with me anymore. He is at my mum's place um, in a folder somewhere. I think she uses him as a bookmark. So sorry, I've just realized these are reflecting again. So we're going to take those off. I either need to stop wearing glasses or get an anti-reflection coating put on them. I don't know. I don't know how people with glasses do it. So our second question in the Twinkle tag is, how many needle minders do you have? I have a very small collection of needle minders. I have a total of 10, and they're all on different projects. So my big project has about 3 because I use them to hold up the pages, of course. And then my smaller projects that are on hold this year all have 1 each on them. And there's a couple left in my stitchy box. But my very favorite one is Simba. I like him because he's sort of a heavy duty plastic. He's not got any rough edges, nothing catches on him. And the magnet for the back, which is stuck on my project because it's currently holding my needle, has a wooden flower button stuck on it, which has a little groove in it, which I find really great because you can put multiple needles on there and they all stay in the direction that you've got them pointing. So I really, really like him. He was a gift from my friend Fliss. So unfortunately, I don't know who made him or where I can get more, but we're trying to find that out. I believe she got it at the Show Me retreat last year. It was part of a needle minder swap that she did. So she was kind enough to bring one home for me because she's an amazing friend and she always thinks of everybody else. So our next question is, if you could stitch one picture, what would it be and why? So I don't have any actual pictures of my family that I'd like to stitch or anything like that. Probably if I had to pick physical imagery, I would make a collage of the cats that we've had and get them put up on the wall as a stitch piece. I think that'd look pretty nice with all the variances in their fur. Obviously, you saw Latte before. She is a tricolor calico. And then I've got a black cat, and I used to have a white cat. None of them were in the house together, so I don't have any photos of them as a single unit, but that's probably what I'd like to stitch. Ideally, I'd make a little collage. If it has to be something I've got physically, I love this piece of artwork from the latest Kate. And it says, "You are worthy of kindness and care just as you are." My friend sent this to me on a day that I was having a really bad anxiety and a bad mental health day, and I just wasn't coping super well. And she always seems to know just when to send something. So she sent this through and printed it and got it laminated for me. And I have it hung up at my home office currently because I'm not at work. But when I go back to work, it'll be coming back with me. I just love seeing it. I love that it's so simple. And the white cat just always makes me smile because, of course, my first cat, Spud, was a white cat. So that was always really nice to have on my desk. Our next question is, what other crafts would you like to try? So I would really like to go through and try my hand at some woodworking or possibly some lace making. One of my friends is making lace at the moment and doing bobbins, and it looks really, really cool. I think it has a lot in common with my other projects and hobby of crocheting. It seems to have a lot of really similar types of stitching in it and types of shapes and things like that. So I think that they would be similar works. Obviously, one's a lot finer than the other, depending on what kind of hooks you're using and things like that. But I think that they would be an interchangeable type of hobby. So I'd like to try my hand at that one day, possibly when I get sick of my crochet. So what is the longest project I've ever done? Well, of course, that is my Pokemon piece. 5 years is a really long time to be holding on to one whip which is why I have decided that I'm not allowed to start anything else. I have to finish him this year. So I'm going to work on him a lot more, but he's definitely my longest whip. The quickest project I've ever done was probably that little Kingdom Hearts piece, my first one, because I was just so obsessed with it. I had to get it done in that day. I had to finish it. I wanted to, give it to my mom and have it in her bookmarks, and it was just one of those things. I got really, really obsessed. I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to getting obsessed with the stitching work. It's very, very full on, but you can just lose yourself in it and just keep going and think, oh, I'll just do one more color, it'll be fine. And then you look at the clock and realize that you've been working for maybe 3 hours instead of the 10 minutes that you said you would. Uh, so that one's all good. The next question here is, what threads do you like? So I have only really used DMC threads and kit threads. Out of those, I really like the DMC. They're obviously that little bit softer. They're nice. They come in big bobbins. They're easy to find. And I can use them on pretty much anything. Everyone's got charts for changing them over from kits and different things. So I really like using those. And my least favorite threads, which is a question a bit further down, are of course the kit threads. I don't like them because they're usually fairly easy to knot. I find they split and they just don't seem to hold form very well for me. A lot of the kits I've done have been dimensions, and some of the people I've talked to and some of the videos I've watched have had the same sort of feedback. They just find that the threads are really scratchy. They're not nice to use. They're not nice to thread. So I don't like those ones. So the next thing on this list was to show you an orts jar. I don't use one, mainly because of my cats. They would get into those very, very quickly. Excuse me, I had something that flew into my eye. That was terrible. Um, so yeah, I don't use an orts jar. I just sort of pile them up and then throw them all out at the end of my stitching time every night. And I find there's not that many. Like, I don't get a lot of them. I tend to weave most of my tails back into the work so that it hides out underneath the other stitches and you can't find it or see it. So something else that I'm working on that's not stitching, of course, you've heard me talk about the blanket I had before. So today I started a new blanket, and instead of doing granny squares, I have taken the C to C pattern or corner to corner pattern from crochet, and it's the same stitch, but instead of going from corner to corner and back in, it just goes straight across. So I've started this one, and I'm using this nice big ball of color changing yarn. I find those are really, really great just because I don't have to think about tying it on all the time or where I should change it. You just let it happen, and where it changes, it changes. Who really cares? It's a blanket for my bed, so it'll be fine. If I was doing a gift, I'd probably be a bit more calculating on it. I'd buy the different colors and have them all balled up and have an exact stitch count for each line, but these are just practice ones for me at the moment until I get decent. So that is going to be my second ever blanket. And then later on this week, I'm getting some smaller hooks again, and I'm going to be starting a miniature granny square blanket for the cats, as of course today is Forever Home Day for them. So I'm going to make them a birthday blanket that they can just drag around the house because they tend to steal this one. If you've been on any of my socials, my Instagram and my Facebook and things like that, there's pictures of them always sitting on the blankets, always biting the blanket, defending the blanket. They're very into my crochet. So I have to make a sacrifice blanket that's just for them. Okay, so our last question is the one that I am unsure about on this tag, and it is, what is your most hated project? I can't really say I have one that I hate. I haven't been that unfortunate to start something and think, I really don't want to do this anymore. I don't like it. I pick all of my projects very, very carefully. If I don't really love them, I won't be stitching them. because they do take so long. Um, so I've got a slight variant on this question. Instead of my most hated project, I'm going to be talking about my most difficult project. And it's not properly difficult because of the pattern or the stitch type. It's just a very standard cross stitch. Um, so mine is actually my hardest project has been one that I have inherited, and I've had to put it away this year because I just haven't been able to focus on it. Um, because my grandmother started it. And of course, she's like me. When you stitch, if you make a mistake, oh, it makes it unique. It's fine. It's fine. So I have had a bit of trouble trying to find what she's charted. Some things she's done and not crossed out, some squares she's crossed out but not actually done. And there are half stitches in there, and someone else tried to help her do it as well. So there's stitching in there that the other person has done that goes in the wrong direction that I've had to pick out, and all sorts of things. So it's been a real challenge. Um, but yeah, so that is all from me today. I really hope that everyone is staying safe and that you're all well and you're crafting, because in these crazy times, it's great to have something to do that is productive and calming and obviously turns into beautiful art. Um, yeah, stay safe, everyone. Bye.